happy Sunday. So I just finished watching episode 2 of season 3 of the Gilded Age, and I thought it was not as good as episode 1 or last week's episode, which I also made a video for, and which I really loved. I thought that the costuming was better though, and so that was one thing that I did enjoy. I did like the arc that the Billy Carlton storyline made, and so this is going to have spoilers, obviously, but yeah, I thought that it was interesting that, you know, he had the opportunity to ask for her hand in marriage, Gladys's hand in marriage, and he was right there and about to, but he bowed out and he just couldn't. And I think that in that moment he just realized that he was not a match for her. And I thought that that was a very interesting but really good way for the storyline to go. But I also thought that it was really interesting, the scene with his mother when they were leaving the party at the Fanes, and how she basically had tried to smooth things over with the Russells, but then had said that, you know, basically she blamed it on them being new money, and then on kind of the advisement or counsel of his mother, he does end up calling off the engagement with Gladys. And so I think that to go back to last week's episode, you know, with Mrs. Russell and how she basically was saying that Billy was not going to be able to really like live up to what Gladys's like call in life was, and I think that that continues to be explored more, where you know, the Russells together as a couple are talking about their daughter and her prospects of marrying a duke, and how basically she could lose that for Billy, and like, would that be worth it? And I think that yes, this opportunity cost is something that people consider through out their mate selection process and deciding who to marry. And so the other thing that was really interesting was the Fanes. I think that seeing Charles and Aurora's dynamic continue to progress, and Charles continued to really expose his cruelty, was really sad but also interesting in understanding divorce and those dynamics. I thought that him kind of appealing to Aunt Agnes but her really like disowning him was like probably the best moment of the entire episode, and that was like when he brought his mistress to the Fanes like fundraiser at their home, and was kind of saying he could do it because it was his home too. And so that was really like, yeah, just a blatant disregard and humiliation really of Aurora, which was really sad, and you really wonder what really is the reason behind him doing that. And I thought that kind of Aurora's soliloquy at the bottom of this stairwell kind of encompassed this, but for him in a way, where she was really expressing what she was going through, but it almost was like what he probably was feeling as someone who was old money and who's fading basically in the face of the new money. Also, I thought that the fact that Aurora decided who was in charge was really funny, and I thought that it was also interesting because kind of someone from their class needed to decide, even like the butler was unable to decide. But yes, I thought that, you know, ultimately the fact that Ada Forte was selected as the new mistress of the home was really indicative of this fact that the new money had taken over, and that really money was what was going to rule society now at this point. So I think that this is like really kind of like a turning point in the series, I would say. Like I mentioned with seasons 3, I do find that to be the case, but I hope that you liked this video. I think it was a little bit more streamlined. I tried to organize my thoughts a little better, but if you liked it, please let me know and make sure you subscribe as I try to grow this channel. I am hoping to get 500 soon so that I can feature my shop. Okay, see you next time. See you next week.